See, that's how we gather firewood, just like that. Pretty simple, right? Now here's, like, if it hadn't been just raining, that stuff right there, I mean, that is just, look at that. That stuff right there is fire starter heaven. I could actually, maybe I should take it back and show you. I could actually start that, even being wet. It's so thin I can dry it out with a flame pretty quick, or even I've even taken an ember before, and it takes a little doing because you have to spend a little time warming it up. But then once it gets going, it'll go. Good stuff. Okay, so I collected some of the driest stuff I could find. None of the stuff's that dry. But we're going to go ahead and play the flame up in here the best we can. Up here kind of on the end. Because one thing, see how that end is loose? The radiant energy from whatever flame I do get, if I get enough volume right off the bat, it can quickly evaporate moisture out of all that damp bark. Even though it looks good now, it could easily still die on me because everything's so damp, you know. See, I almost put it out right there. But it's pretty, ouch. So now, so that's a pretty good inferno in there. So now I'm going to lay this more twig type stuff down. And let's see, lower the camera a little. Well, it's kind of starting it already anyway. That should go. Even though everything there is damp, some of it even fairly wet, that should still get started for me. You see, by starting out with a pretty nice sized bundle of that shredded bark to start with, I was able to get enough energy right off the bat to keep the whole thing going. A lot of times we find we start with something too small, then we just try to nurse it. The conditions are not so favorable, things are damp, wet. Like a week ago, there was a foot or more of snow on top of all this stuff, and then it rained. So all that just soaked, I mean, everything is wet. So I wanted to start with the driest inner bark I could find, and I wanted to have a big ball of it, so that, because I knew some of it would start, and the radiant energy from that flame, if you can get enough volume right at the beginning, enough of that gets going, you've got a kind of a foundation, enough energy to get everything else going. And so you can see it, you know, it wasn't difficult at all to get this. So now that we got that going, I'll grab some smaller pieces of this cottonwood bark and just kind of lay on there. And sometimes I'll put it face down, well, I guess inside down, but since that stuff is, well, actually it's burning good. A lot of times if that's kind of soggy, I'll put the outside down. There's a little bit of pinion chunk I found. Throw that on there. So we're going to be good to go here. This is going to be great. We'll get the fire going. I'm going to do some fun things today, show you some stuff.